Join me today on a tour of Universal Studios Florida. It's day 3 of our 7 days to a better Universal Orlando vacation. Welcome to episode 3 of the Go Inform podcast. I'm excited to talk to you guys today. It's day 3 of our 7 days to a better Universal Orlando vacation. And today we're going to be taking a virtual tour of Universal Studios Florida. And I think that's going to be pretty fun because we can all pretend we're there, including me. I'm sorry to say I'm not in Universal Studios today, but I will be in my mind. And I'm glad to bring you guys along with me. So what we're going to do is I've got a map here, and if you want to follow along with the map, you can look in the show notes or go over to goinform.net/3. That's the number 3 for the show notes over there. And I will put a link to Universal Studios Florida official on the website to their interactive map so you can follow along over there. So Universal Studios Florida opened in 1990. It's one of 2 theme parks at Universal Orlando Resort. The other park is Universal Islands of Adventure, and that is right next door. And we will go over there and take a walk around tomorrow. So stay tuned for that. So the theme park, Universal Studios Florida, is themed on movies and TV and entertainment. So what you're going to see when you first get to the park is theming based around old Hollywood, and then it's going to move into sort of a backstage movie set kind of scenery and take you into some other realms of the movie and TV world. So that's what we can look forward to here at Universal Studios Florida. So let's get a hold of our map and take a look at where we're going to go. So when you first arrive at Universal Studios Florida, you're going to see a big arched entrance, and it looks a lot like an old Hollywood movie studio entrance, which is the idea here. And as you pass through the gate, you're going to pass some buildings that look like old Hollywood. So architecture looking like maybe the 1930s, some of the colors, the mint green and such from that era. And these first buildings as you walk into the park are shopping and restaurants and some of those type of things. And the way that this part of the park is organized, it's sort of like city streets over here. So as we walk along, we're going to pass through some different blocks and different neighborhoods, well, actually different cities as we move around this part of the park. So as you walk down the street, you're going to walk past the initial little shops and such, and ahead, you really can't miss it, you're going to see Gru's house from the movie Despicable Me. And this is the Minion Mayhem ride, which is really fun. I think everybody should do this one. It is cute and funny and not that thrilling, but a little bit. What it is it's a 4D movie ride, which means that it's like a 3D movie, but your seat's going to move and you're going to feel like you're really in the action with the Minions. And the Minions are always fun. So, and you get to meet a Minion at the end of this when you get done with the ride. So that's pretty cool too. So that's the first attraction that you're going to see. Right across the street from the Minion Mayhem ride is a Shrek movie ride, which is the same type of a ride. It's got a 3D movie plus some other effects, and that one's a fun one too, especially if you're a fan of the Shrek movies. So those are the 2 kind of things that greet you as you move into Universal Studios Florida. Now, as we continue down the street, sort of behind Gru's house and also just sort of going the length of this entire street is the Hollywood Rip Ride Rocket roller coaster. This is a pretty crazy roller coaster. It starts out going straight up in the air. I mean, straight up and straight down. So if you are a roller coaster fan, the Rip Ride Rockit roller coaster will be for you. There's a lot of cool twists and turns also, and you get to pick your own music that you listen to on the ride. So it's pretty cool. I will say, though, that if you're not a big roller coaster fan, or if you just don't want to be going straight up in the air, you could skip this one. If you want to work up your courage for a coaster, I think the Incredible Hulk coaster over at Universal Islands of Adventure, if I was only going to do one, that's the one I would pick. But Rip Ride Rockit is a good one to say that you've done. So if you want bragging rights, definitely check that one out. Now, kind of in front of the Rip Ride Rockit, and as we move down the street here, is a big stage, which is where Universal hosts concerts during the year. And if you're here on a typical theme park day, there probably won't be anything on the stage. But in front of the stage is a large grassy area, and this is a really nice place to just stop and take a break. So remember this when you come back later in the day. It's nice to just sit on the grass. It's usually quiet, not very crowded here, and nice to have a little green space in the middle of a paved theme park. So, to make note of our little green space that we're passing on the left. As we keep walking down the street, the next thing you're going to see is the Race Through New York with Jimmy Fallon ride. This is a Tonight Show themed ride, and the ride's really fun. It's a lot like the other two that I've already described, the movie rides. This one, the whole audience goes on a race through New York City. It's very funny. It's fun. Also, the waiting area for the ride is different than any other ride I've seen. You don't line up in a line and stand around. You get a ticket with a color on it, and when your color comes up on the lights, then that's your cue to get in line and get into the theater. So what this means is you get a lot of time to just hang around inside the waiting area, which, by the way, on in theme park language, the waiting area or the line area for a ride is called a queue, which is not the letter Q, it is the word queue. So Queue. So when you hear people talking about the queue and what the queue is like, that's what they mean. And at the Jimmy Fallon ride, there actually isn't a queue. There's just a big waiting area that they have live entertainment there, which is really great. They have games you can play. There's a lot of memorabilia about the Tonight Show. So it's a cool place to check out for sure and, get on that ride. Okay, so after Jimmy Fallon, we're just about at the end of the street now, and you might notice that the architecture and design around you here is New York. So this part of the park is called New York, and it's got a lot of references to the city of New York. There's a big Macy's department store facade. There's brick houses, and there's lots of other stuff that will make you think you're kind of walking through New York, which is very cool. Here in New York, another big ride is the Mummy Ride. So the Mummy Ride is an indoor roller coaster and dark ride, and it is pretty thrilling. So make sure that you like roller coasters before you go on this one. But it's a classic ride here at Universal Studios Florida, and if you love thrill rides, you should for sure get on the Mummy. And now, as we're passing out of New York, you're going to be heading into San Francisco. And as you reach into the San Francisco area, you'll see a lake. So this end of the theme park, there's a big lake, and the rides and the attractions are all surrounding the lake on kind of just a long promenade. And we're going to walk around the promenade and go around the lake. So as we get into San Francisco, you'll see architecture. It looks like the San Francisco waterfront and some other landmarks of San Francisco, like a big Ghirardelli sign and stuff like that. And there's a new ride here in San Francisco that's going to be opening in the spring of 2018, and it's called Fast and Furious Supercharged. So that one is obviously based on the Fast and Furious rides, and it is not open yet as of this recording, but you guys who are coming back from the future to listen to this, it might already be open, so yay for you. I'm pretty sure it's going to be a cool ride. Yeah, and I'm sure it involves cars. So that's all I can tell you, but that is opening pretty soon here in the spring of 2018. Okay, as we move out of San Francisco, again, the architecture is going to change because now we're approaching London. So I think most of you guys know what might be located in London. One of the main reasons people come to Universal Studios Florida and to Universal Orlando in general is what's behind the brick wall here in London. However, I'm going to keep you guys in suspense because we're going to do an entire day episode on our day 5 of this 7 days, talking all about the Wizarding World of Harry Potter. So you'll have to stay tuned. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, you guys, so you don't miss it. Right now, though, we're skipping the Wizarding World attractions, and we're going to keep on moving. So just keep walking here along next to the lake. Don't look at that King's Cross station. Don't be looking at that purple bus over there. Just keep on moving, and we'll come back, I promise. We'll come back and talk all about it here in a couple of days. Now, after you pass through there, you're going to see ahead of you a kind of a futuristic part of the world, and this is where the Men in Black Alien Attack Ride is. And the Alien Attack Ride is you ride through kind of a city street, and there's aliens attacking everywhere, and you have to help the Men in Black shoot them down. So it's fun. It's kind of like a shooting gallery on wheels, I guess, with aliens. So there you go. Yeah, it's a fun ride. I wouldn't wait more than like 20 minutes for this ride, just to be honest. But if you have an express pass, you will never wait anything like 20 minutes to get on this ride. So like we were talking about yesterday with the advantages of staying on site in an express pass hotel, this is one of those places where it's great to have express pass. Okay, let's keep on going now. Now we're kind of around the backside of the lake, and here you'll see, if you're a Simpsons fan at all, you're going to see some very familiar looking sights. This is Springfield, the home of the Simpsons, and Universal's done a fabulous job here with the theming. It's really immersive. There's a lot of inside jokes. I'm not even a big Simpsons fan, and I think it's a really fun part of this park. In this Springfield, you're going to find things like Duff beer. You're going to find big, huge pink donuts. There's carnival rides and just a ton of humor here. I mean, one of the rides is called Twirl and Hurl. So I think it's fun. The big ride in Springfield is called the Simpsons Ride. It is another one of these 4D movie rides, but kind of on steroids. So the simulator on this is it's really great. I mean, you're watching a movie, but you really feel like you're in it. And the ride itself, the movie that's the story of the ride is really funny, and it's like being in an episode of The Simpsons. So this is actually one of my favorite rides at Universal Studios Florida, and I really recommend checking it out. And as you move out of Springfield, you're going to start seeing some of the movie memorabilia that's around the parks. And this is something I actually can kind of see throughout Universal Studios Florida. One of the cool attractions right here is the DeLorean from Back to the Future. And sometimes you'll see Doc from Back to the Future here too. You can meet him and get a picture. They also have the train from Back to the Future 3, if you even remember that there was that movie, anything about it. There was train. And it's here. That's what that train is that you're going to be passing as you're walking out of Springfield. Now, we're going to keep moving kind of straight ahead, but if you were to take a sharp left turn, kind of make a U-turn here, you would end up in Woody Woodpecker's Kid Zone, which is the kind of the one part of this park that's for little kids. There's going to be, your kiddie coaster and your carousel and stuff like that back here. There's also a ride based on the movie E.T., which is one of the classic rides here at Universal Studios Florida. When we go, that's one that we skip. My daughter doesn't even know who E.T. is. So you're going to have to decide if this is a priority for you or not. But if you have little kids, this part of the park, you'll probably spend quite a bit of time in. So we are going to bypass that area, though, and we're just going to keep on walking around the lake. What you're going to see here is Mel's Diner, which is a copy of the Mel's Diner from the American Graffiti movie. And surrounding the drive-in is a whole bunch of old classic cars from that era. So if you have anybody who's a car enthusiast in your group, you'll want to stop and take a look at these and take some pictures. Now behind Mel's Diner, as we keep going around the lake, we're almost all the way back to San Francisco now. It's kind of hard to miss. There is a giant building with a giant transformer on top of it. And I don't mean like an electrical transformer. I mean like the guy from the movie robot thing, Transformer, on top of the building. So this is Transformers Ride. Haha, surprise. And the Transformers Ride is one of the signature rides at Universal Orlando. This is a ride that I can't even quite explain how it works. You just got to do it. It's fun. It's a really fun ride. You're riding. It's like a dark ride, but there's tons of action. You feel like you're flying. It's very cool. I have no idea what the story is. I've ridden it a bunch of times. I don't know what's going on, but it's super fun. So go ride the Transformers ride before you leave the park. So those are the highlights. And in terms of other things that you can do in the park at Universal Studios Florida, shopping is fun. There's a lot of cool shops that have memorabilia. There's actually like one shop that sells props. I'm pretty sure these are real props from movies and stuff. There is also a lot of different shops that sell T-shirts with movie themes and stuff that you may have not seen since you were a kid. A lot of cool nostalgic stuff in this park. So when you start getting kind of tired and the line's getting long and it's hot and you want to get inside, go and do a little bit of shopping here. Even just window shopping. There's a lot of fun things to see. There are also a few other things that go on in this park. There's a movie makeup show, which is a really cool behind the scenes look at how they do special effects movie makeup. There's also a parade that happens in this park most days, and it's a character parade. So you'll see Gru and the Minions, and you'll see the Blues Brothers driving by. And so that's kind of fun. If you want to see a lot of the characters and stuff all in one place, the parade is a good place to see that. This park also has a nighttime show. They call it the Cinematic Spectacular. It's like fireworks, and they show scenes of movies somehow over the lake, and it's pretty magical. So if you want to see like a nighttime show like that, this is the park to see it. They don't do anything like that over at Universal Islands of Adventure. So if you want to see a nighttime show like that, take a look when you're arriving. Take a look at the show times and see if that show happens to be going while you're going to be in the parks. So I hope that our tour today has helped you get a better understanding of what you'll see in Universal Studios Florida. Tomorrow we're going to talk about Universal Islands of Adventure. And there's a lot of cool stuff over there too. So I hope that you will stay tuned for that. And if you haven't already, make sure that you hit the subscribe button so you don't miss any future episodes. And also, if you have a minute to take just a minute and leave a rating or review for the podcast on iTunes, that would be huge. It's a new podcast and that helps other people find me. Thank you so much for listening and being a part of our 7 days to a better Universal Orlando vacation. I'm looking forward to seeing you tomorrow at Islands of Adventure, and I hope you have an epic vacation.